Heading to Urban Surf wave pool soon? Here's how to pick the perfect wave settings for you. Hi guys, Chris from Stoked Travel here, or welcome back to the channel. Now before I get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any video goodness. Now today we're going to be talking about Urban Surf wave pool in Australia. I headed there a few weeks ago and had an epic time surfing and enjoying the general vibe around the pool. If you haven't seen the vlog already, make sure you check out the link in the description below for my full video. But today we're going to be talking about the wave settings involved. They've got options at Urban Surf for everything from complete beginners right through to expert barrel riders. Today we're going to be talking through every single wave setting available so you can choose the right setting for you. Because we are going to run through everything from lessons right through to barrel and beast mode, if you are looking for a particular wave mode at the moment, make sure you check out the chapter settings below and you can skip straight through to the wave of your choice. But yeah, we're going to be running through everything you need to know, including some hints and tips of how to make the most of your trip to Urban Surf. So yeah, let's jump straight in. So first things first, why is it important to find the correct wave setting for you? Well, it boils down to three things: safety, fun, and progression. Obviously, the most important part of this is safety. Now, through my personal experience, I did find there was people in every single session I attended that were really out of their depth and shouldn't have been in that session. Now, I'm all for progression and pushing your boundaries, but keep things safe as well and don't overestimate your abilities. This is especially true for the intermediate and upward sessions. The takeoff's quite fast and punchy, so if you can't take off confidently every time, you're going to quickly find yourself in a really bad position, both the safety for yourself and for other people. If you do bail on that takeoff, you're going to take a few more of that set on the head, and you could quickly find yourself in the way of other surfers and ruining their waves as well, so if they have to kick out or dodge you, and it ruins the rest of the wave. So yeah, safety is definitely a big feature. Moving on from safety, fun is also another thing. If you don't choose the correct session, you're going to find yourself well out of your depth and you're just not going to enjoy your experience at Urban Surf. So if you choose the right one, you'll get the most out of your experience, have heaps of fun, and really enjoy the experience as a whole. Now the final part of this is progression as well. Again, if you go too fast, too quickly, you're going to find yourself struggling to surf the wave and you're really not going to make the most of it. If you kind of go a level slightly lower than what you think you should be going for, you're going to be able to kind of push your progression that little bit further because you're not going to be worried about the wave. You're just going to be worried about kind of surfing it and kind of progressing your turns and all your techniques. So yeah, those are the three main reasons why you need to select the correct wave for you. Okay, so wave type number one is learning to surf at Urban Surf. It's obviously a really nice, controlled and safe environment to learn to surf. So if you've never tried surfing before, wave pool is a perfect place to start. Now, Urban Surf do complete beginner sessions, so you get an instructor and you learn in the white water of the pool. So it's really nice, safe and controlled. And it's great for kind of getting your first steps into surfing. If you have had a few lessons or you're kind of getting up quite confidently, they also do two other lessons, beginner 1 and beginner 2. Now these are aimed at people who are confident in surfing the whitewash and just want to push their skills to the next level because they're then looking at surfing kind of the main break at Urban Surf. So these will really help your techniques in terms of speed generation, popping confidently, and of course those basic turns you'll need on takeoff as well. So yeah, if you are looking to learn to surf, they do offer these waves. So the first wave where you actually surf the main point at Urban Surf is the cruiser session. Now this is a really nice mellow wave setting. It's about kind of waist high and resembles something like the Pass in Byron Bay or the points at Noosa on a small day. So this is a great way to kind of take your first steps into surfing unbroken waves, and it's really good for practicing and also for longboarders as well. If you are kind of getting your first steps into unbroken waves, it's the first time surfing wave pool, they do also offer cruiser lessons, so you'll have a bit of an intro and some land theory training and practice with an instructor, and then they'll take you out to the point as well. So that's a really good kind of entryway. But the cruiser is the most mellow way to surf Urban Surf. So the next stage in your progression at Urban Surf is the intermediate sessions. Personally, this was my favorite session there. It was really good for practicing your turns and speed generation. Now the takeoff on the intermediate does ramp up a level compared with the cruiser. It's a lot more punchy and quick, so be aware of that. But it's a good way of kind of pushing your surfing to the next level in about kind of like chest to shoulder high waves. For me, this was the best one in terms of kind of pushing your skills and techniques and really kind of getting those cutbacks and turns down as well. Again, if this is your first kind of jump up from the cruiser session, or you're a bit unsure, or it's your kind of an intermediate but first time in a wave pool, they do also offer intermediate lessons as well, so you do have an instructor on hand to help you out. But yeah, that's the intermediate sessions. Okay, so next up is the advanced session at URBNSURF, and this is where things start getting a little bit more serious. The takeoff here is really quick and punchy, and the session is divided into 2 stages. The first part of the session is a really nice long wall. It's quite quick, and it's great for getting those turns and kind of pushing your kind of confidence on bigger waves. Now the second half of the session is where things really ramp up and you get that famous barrel section. The takeoff in the second half for the barrels is actually a really nice mellow kind of roll in, which is a lot easier than the first part of the session. But then you hit that inside section, it hollows out barrels and you get that really nice tube. Now don't be put off if you don't make the first few barrels. It is definitely a lot more difficult than it looks. And even though it's a perfect wave and a perfect barrel, getting that technique down definitely takes a bit of time and you will get some floggings. So with that in mind, don't kind of overestimate your ability and go, yeah, I can handle a barrel, it's perfect. You know, you are going to hit the bottom, that lip is pretty meaty, and you are going to take some pretty solid bails as well. But yeah, the advanced session starts around about head height and then hits that barrel section in the second half. Now alongside the advanced session is also the advanced turn session. The first part of this starts off the same as the advanced, so a nice punchy wall. The second half, instead of barreling though, becomes a massive open face wave. So it slows down a bit where it would have barreled and gives you a nice bit of face to play with. So this is really good for pushing those maneuvers onto bigger waves, kind of cutbacks, punts, and also big roundhouse maneuvers. You won't get any barrels in this session, but if you're looking for kind of progression on bigger waves when it comes to your kind of power maneuvers and your cutbacks, this is the one for you. And the creme de la creme in terms of waves at URBNSURF is expert session, aka beast mode. Now this is basically the advanced session, but it barrels start to finish. So you don't have any kind of long walls to play with to kind of warm yourself up. You just go straight into barrels for the full hour. So if you're really kind of looking to practice that tube riding technique, this is definitely the one for you. Again, don't just jump straight into the expert session being like, yeah, I definitely know what I'm doing, I'm straight in there. Warm up with an advanced session first and then go for an expert session later on once you've kind of got your technique, because that takeoff is definitely the hardest part of any session at URBNSURF. But yeah, if you're hunting for the best barrels, expert session is for you. Now, one of my top tips on making the most of your time at URBNSURF, and of course selecting the right wave type for you, is use it as a training session. URBNSURF is basically a gym for surfers, and unlike the ocean, the wave's going to do the same every time, so you can really practice your maneuvers. So with that in mind, kind of your first few waves, enjoy it, kind of race down the line, do a couple of carves, get that takeoff really nailed, and then get down to business. Before you head to URBNSURF, kind of figure out what you really want to push in terms of your technique, whether that's your pop, your speed generation, those cutbacks, getting your kind of little kind of bad habits ironed out, kind of looking back as you're doing those cutbacks and things like that. Kind of focus on that and then really go to work. Go in there with intent. Look at some YouTube tutorials before you head to URBNSURF and make the most of the waves on offer. Because then when you head back to the ocean, you'll be able to kind of take yourself even further and have even more enjoyment once you're at the beach as well. So yeah, one of my top tips at URBNSURF, use it like a training ground. So when it comes to the best waves to choose for you at URBNSURF, I'd also suggest not booking a single session. Book yourself in at least 2, maybe even 3 sessions for your trip. The reason for this is because use that first session as a bit of a warm-up for the main event. So if you're like, oh, I want to go in for an advance because I want to do some big turns and get barreled, book an intermediate session to get yourself started. It's going to help you get that takeoff nailed, which is the most important thing, and you are going to stack a few of those. So you're going to use that as your warm-up, kind of get the feel for the wave pool, how the lineup works, and kind of get into your groove. Going for a kind of a lower session also takes out the kind of fear factor as well. So you're on a slightly smaller wave than you want to be surfing, so you can really practice. For myself, I really like the advanced sessions. I really wanted to get barreled, but I actually found I made the most out of my sessions when I was on the intermediate. I wasn't worried about the wave. I wasn't worried about the wave size. I was just concentrating on my technique and really kind of pushing my turns and where I wanted to go in terms of progression. Also with that, if I was going to go back, so even though I enjoyed the advanced session, I do 2 intermediate sessions and then advanced. I'd use the 2 intermediate as my training session and the advanced one just to try and get that barrel technique down as a bit of a bonus and a bit more of a fun session. So yeah, kind of opt for that session below where you think you're going to go and you'll make the most of your trip overall. And there you have it, guys. That's my full guide to choosing the right setting for you at URBNSURF Wavepool. Now, if you have any other questions about heading to URBNSURF, make sure you chuck them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them. Make sure you check out the links in the description below to my full URBNSURF guide and of course my vlog from there as well. That's it for this week, guys. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.